Aloha, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another week of amazing, expansive, illuminated living here on planet Earth. My name is Merissa Indigo. I am the founding director of Divine DNA Blueprint Mystery School Online, and I am welcoming you to this weekly broadcast, which I call the Weekly Quantum Plasma. It's an energy stream where we're tuning in to the energetics of the week. Sometimes we incorporate what I call some star language, which is what are the planets doing because it affects us here, and all the different energies, all of the different aspects of navigating consciousness, this awakening journey, the ascension process. So welcome to the second week now of December. If you have not seen my December crystalline code portal video, that will greatly assist you if you're new to the crystalline realms and all that that opens up in our experience as we're navigating and waking consciousness. It's a whole activation when we're working with the crystalline realms, right? And so December is all about that. We've got the sacred energies of the 12 and the Trinity, and amazing opportunities for rebirth and sacred kind of resurrection and connecting more with our soul. So we're going to be talking about all of that this week. There is a lot to cover. You may occasionally in this podcast this week be hearing a cat purring. We'll see. We have some visitation of the in-person domesticated friends version of the Lyran lion allies. This is a big energetic this week, and this whole month is that sacred lion energy to support us with courage, boldness, new expressions of being, and when appropriate, a ferocity as well. But this is more of an internal ferocity with one's self to choose to align higher, to treat yourself with even more love and sacred self-care than ever before. So it's kind of an internal application, right, of the lion, the sacred lion energy. So, all right, let's get into it. We have a lot to talk about. One of the main themes that's very important to share is that we are deeply now in the solstice gateway. So the December solstice, the winter solstice, this is a huge symbolism of the return of the light for those in the northern hemisphere, right? It gets darker and darker and darker from the summer solstice until the return of the light in the winter, right? So we're losing more daylight. And you could look at this as a symbolic journey of the evolution of consciousness, of how well are we working it out with less light, right? And going into the shadow realms and doing the deep inner diving and the subconscious work. And so this is already a very massive sacred energy that we're in. You may be noticing like you're pulled a lot more internally, really feeling more than ever an invitation for kind of a more of an internal or a hibernation kind of place of being. And you want to honor that, right? So we're deeply in this beautiful solstice gate. So already a time of reverence and slowing down and connecting with the divinity within, softening. There's a lot of physical clearing continuing when we're talking about the crystalline realms and the purification of the crystalline. So you may notice your energy levels are up and down, right, all over the place. You could observe achiness, variety of experiences, a lot of head cold kind of feelings, right, or sinuses or stuffy nose, headaches, light sensitivity in the eyes, spinal ache, bone sensitivity, all kinds of stuff. You could notice like you're feeling fluish almost systemically for a few hours, and then a few hours go by and you feel fine, or that you need to spend days resting and really devoting, time and energy to just resting and just surrendering, dropping into this. What's happening with this is crystalline codes are a very powerful purification, becoming more crystalline inside. So that means that the photonic light is drilling down and through us and essentially up leveling and unearthing any of the density inside. So there's a lot of rewriting going on, a lot of recalibration, a lot of, if you imagine, almost like a crystalline psychic surgery happening with how the light is rewriting ourselves. And it can be exhausting, right? And that's just the physical level. There's also the emotional purification. So you want to just go with the flow the best you can, really surrender. The less you fight it, and that's going to be a key theme of this week, is surrendering the battle within. So the less resistance you can manage and just being open and softening and trusting this, it will get easier. We make it harder and kind of double time against ourselves when we fight the process of evolution. There are going to be massive shifts in roles, meaning, how we show up in society, how we bring our energy outwards around family and friends and our work community and our all in the social sphere, the entire workforce and the entire 9 to 5 paradigm, all of that is shifting for humanity in multiple ways. And like the most like generic or broad example would be the robotic workforce coming in to take over more of the menial jobs, and some people that scares them, like, well, what are we going to do for work? But how I see all of this is a beautiful renaissance where when we're measuring the value of human consciousness and energy and human life, I feel that it would be really beautiful for humanity to focus more on innovation, creativity, beauty, essentially a cultural renaissance versus the 9 to 5 acting like a robot already and not really being able to have a personality, right? Having to fit into this corporate culture. When we talk about some of the more manual labor kind of jobs and robots taking over, I honestly see it as a beautiful opportunity for new roles to come in, right? Because we always want to look at, well, energy is always transforming. It's never actually completely dissipating. It's going into something else. The flow is going to evolve continually into something else. And so it's bringing that fresh perspective, the higher perspective of, oh my gosh, wow. So if we have a dwindling role or dwindling workforce, it's because there's going to be other roles coming in that are really beautiful and part of this cultural renaissance that has really been prophesized for a long time, right? This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. So it's there's a lot of nuance here, but always just want to play with looking at things from multiple perspectives, right? Like you're looking at it through a prism, through a crystal. We're looking at each thing through multiple facets, right, of the crystal. Along with the shift in workforce per se, you're going to see higher spiritual roles. People are wanting to do something different with their life, with their precious life and their energy. Where is it more serving and nourishing and holistic, right, to do something else? So our higher spiritual roles are starting to call us forward, shifting how we do things or shifting a new way of showing up, all these places to go forward in our evolution and in our expression. So all of this is part of this crystalline consciousness and the clearing, purification at all levels. And so you might also notice when you're really getting hit with the crystalline, sweet and salty food cravings. So some fun little things, you'll start to identify the frequencies with time of like, oh yeah, this is crystalline. Oh, this is plasma, energetics coming through. The crystalline energies are very sacred and very illuminating, very inspiring, very beautiful, sparkly. Think about crystals and how the crystals make you feel, right? Very healing energy and also very feminine, very receptive. So that's all part of these Christed activations of this month. Now, a huge piece, which is going to be really interesting for all of us, to observe within ourselves and one another, Mars is retrograde. Mars went retrograde on Friday, the 6th of December. And that means the ego takes a backseat. This is going to show up. You're going to see this in yourself and others, depending on the situation, the energetics, the person you're around, all these little pieces here. You're going to notice one of two things. You're going to see that yourself and others are softening. They're opening up. They're finally releasing, surrendering, letting go of the battle of ourself and our emotions. Because some of us have been doing that most of our lives, right? Just battling our way through to get through the damn day, right? And so some people are like, I'm tired of doing it that way. I'm gonna chill a little bit. You know what? I want to learn something new. I want to try this a different way. So you're gonna have some people that are finally ready to open and soften and want to explore opportunities, want to learn new things, and learn more about themselves and learn more about consciousness and how to be happy instead of fighting themselves. So exploring a new way, right, to reach fulfillment and happiness and peace inside in a more gentle and feminine way, a receiving way. On the contrary, this Mars energy is the ego and the emotions. And so some, depending on their journey, you may find they're getting more defensive, right? More combative, more emotional, and they're just digging their heels in. They're not ready to let go. They're not ready to surrender the fight. And both of these are important. If people haven't really fought yet for themselves, then they need to go through that and then tucker themselves out. And then they come to that surrendering and being open to a new space, a new way. So both of them are valuable. It just depends on where people are. Essentially, everyone is working through ego constructs, right? Programming. So this is this month, oh my gosh, massive deprogramming. It's like the whole year collapsing in, the whole life collapsing in, because there's the opportunity with the solstice energy to completely dissolve yourself and absolve yourself of all and come back, right, as this purified. So there's a resurrection energy here. It's very powerful. Huge, huge deprogramming phases. Amazing opportunities, just really so beautiful, of sacred feminine and sacred masculine integration. So many of us are clearing the shadow ego wounds of the masculine wounding, the feminine wounding. Amazing, amazing expansions happening with this. Beautiful opportunities when we soften, when we let go, and come into the heart and the wisdom of the heart here. And this is where the Lyran lions are here to assist us with that, I say, a fierceness, a strength, a courage, right? A tenacity to keep going within, to keep focusing on the heart, to keep opening the heart and do the work, go through, feel the feelings and clear the programming, right? So there's these opportunities now to really define our heart, to really feel the courage to pursue our happiness. So here are these beautiful Lyran Lion, the courage codes. And I'm going to share this week, I'll put it in the community. I'm going to start sharing some resources of videos I've created in the years past to assist through these different kind of gateways to go deeper with the energy. So keep your eyes out. There's going to be a beautiful, it's the courage codes with the Lyran Lions and Archangel Ariel and Saint Joan of Arc. And it's really beautiful energy, very in line with the solstice integration that we are doing right now. So massive surrendering, massive letting go. We have the most incredible event that has happened, and I have been quite moved, very emotional this weekend with more of these sacred feminine expansions. And the most beautiful example I can share is Notre Dame. Notre Dame opening up again. This beautiful cathedral of Our Lady, right? Divine Cosmic Mother. And she has been a literal temple for humanity, right? For 861 years, anchoring the feminine Christed energy, the Sophia consciousness into the planet, right? And so it's amazing to watch what happens on Earth as it's happening at the same time in the cosmos. This is where we bring in the planetary language. So on Friday the 6th, we had this incredible opportunity where Venus moved into the sign of Aquarius. And Venus is beauty, it's our values, it's the harmonic, it's the energy behind artistic renaissance. So the beauty of the muse that is inspiring beautiful creations, art, all of our innovative genius. Also our values and new ways to express ourselves, relationships. So there's a huge upgrade of the feminine consciousness that is happening, a massive radical sacred revolution of the feminine energies of the Venusian codes, activating our Venusian star family. All of us have this. Gaia herself, the planet where we live, is a sacred feminine planet. It is a Venusian crystalline energy. So seeing Notre Dame open back up after the fires of 2019 and seeing people there and just putting ourselves into that energetic of sacred places, hallowed places. We're removing the religious affiliation completely and bringing in just this ancient connection as humanity with Divine Mother. Very powerful. So we are just being shown all over in all these different ways, these incredible energies that are coming forth to support us through this sacred rebirth process. Can't even stress enough how massive these upgrades are for us, for our own inner feminine and masculine qualities. There's also incredible nostalgia happening with this Mars retrograde. Mars is going to be retrograde for 3 months. So ego's taking a back seat. We're getting this incredible opportunity to dig deep and soften our egos, humble our egos, come more into the authentic self, free from all of those constructs. That's a lot of deprogramming, right? And with that, you could be observing some nostalgia. You know, we're also in the holiday time, and so you could be also doing what we call the past life review. This is always something that's going to happen over and over again before a major jump, a major quantum jump, a major timeline jump, is that we are reflecting back on our life in different instances and experiences. It's part of clearing the Akash, which we've been talking about this month, the sacred divine rebirth energies, and just really wanting to honor that this is a very tender time, very precious, sacred rebirth, of the beautiful imagery here of your own sacred star child, your own divine, magical, crystalline, or Christed child. And so the heart work is very powerful this month, going into that vulnerability, going into massive root chakra clearing, clearing childhood trauma, any of that kind of bullying energy, where we weren't able to have a voice, all this stuff. We're coming into our power yet again in a whole another level of a beautiful way, supported with this crystalline energy. And it's really about embracing the radiant beauty and love and preciousness, that inherent worth that is so precious, that is the crystalline aspect of ourselves, our inner Christed one, our inner illuminated one, our inner shining one, getting to embrace that more. And that's why the lions are here, to assist us. So the massive lions are here so that we feel safe for this process, safe in traversing these vulnerable spaces and releasing. Also powerful ancestral clearing with this. So there's just these massive positive energies that are here now of the ascended new earth. You're going to see within yourself and within others. And it's all just information to take in and to observe and to work with, right? There's no judging. Everyone's in different places and stages, and it's all perfect based on everyone's soul. But you're going to see, whether for yourself or others, many living in a mental prison of the past, stuck in just rehashing or looping their trauma. They're living from a trauma state. They're living from the limbic brain. They need to clear out and reset the vagus nerve. All of this channel is about all of that, that emotional clearing, coming into divine neutrality. So like I said, I'm going to be sharing a lot of the resources that we have created in the years leading up to this to prepare people now for these larger jumps in the quantum consciousness evolution. But you're going to be seeing where you could be going through this process and you feel like you're in hell inside and your heart is closed, so it's harder to perceive, right? We're stuck in the linear again thinking, which is very separated. It's very segmented when we're in the linear thinking mind. So you could be going through this hellish experience, whatever it is inside, it's just gnarly. But then you go outside, out in nature, out of the head and out into nature, and you see how gorgeous it is, how beautiful it is, how peaceful, soft, loving, kind, magical, crystalline. And then we realize, oh my God. So you're differentiating. New Earth is here. It's all around us. When we get trapped in the mind and an ego construct and a belief system, or we're fighting for our limitations, for our victim consciousness. And so the ego is going to make an enemy out of everything that is here to assist you to shift. It's really important to see that. The big thing, we're always the ones making it hard. We're still believing it has to be hard. That's a big one for all of us. I'm still deprogramming more and more layers of this, of like, wow, we always believe we have to suffer and grind, away. And that it has to be hard and that we have to feel like shit at the end of the day or we didn't do a good job. Like, all of this stuff that's from the old paradigm, right? So all of us are working through this. So that's a nice one to just say right now together, oh, body, thank you for showing me that belief system that it has to be hard. Thank you for showing me. And you have full permission, body, right now, to just let that go. We're going to drop that belief through the body. We're going to drop it. We're going to dissolve it. And we're going to clear it right now. Thank you so much. Drop, drop, drop. And yay, right? And then next, on to the next, right? So that's how easy it can be. You may be observing heaviness in the body, in the emotions, or in the heart space. Observe your energy levels and how are you feeling? Because again, these are the massive times to surrender the struggle, the battle. These are huge opportunities to practice forgiveness for self and others, forgiveness for what occurred in the past, forgiveness for mistakes that we made when we were unconscious. So you want to watch, be aware where you may be crucifying yourself, right? Really gnarly self-punishment, not good enough, or you made a mistake, or low confidence, other forms of self-annihilation. These are the codes, the programs of self-annihilation that all of us were infiltrated with coming into the density of the old paradigm. So there's nothing wrong with you if you observe it. You just, thank you for showing me. Let's dissolve this one too, right? So these are all old programs of self-annihilation or self-sabotage, where we're basically focusing on punishing ourselves, right? So watch that, the Punisher, watch that program at this time and embrace your crystalline. As you see any of these programs, you feel it completely, right? And then when you feel complete and you felt it, you've had a cry or whatever, you stomped it out, whatever is appropriate, then you say, okay, body, drop, dissolve, and clear this. Drop the density. And so this is the crystalline purification process. So for some, it's new. And so we want to really make sure we're explaining it in depth. For some, it's a cyclical process that we have through these major gates, these solar gateways all throughout the year. So they happen with all of the different solstices and equinoxes, anything that's working through the light and the shadow and the dark within us, right? To bring the light into the dark and to realize that it is all holy, it is all sacred. We were holding ourselves back. We were saying we're not good enough, right? We were saying we're not done, or we're not worthy, right? Or we're not good enough or pure enough. Like, this is where we surrender all this heavy stuff. It's important to know that crystalline purification process, it takes at least 2 years. So it depends on how focused one is. You know, it could be more, but at least 2 years for each type of DNA strand activation. So depending on where you are in your journey. So for me, the crystalline codes started in June of 2020, and I shared the transmission of the diamantine. And so the diamond was coming through for me with that, which is where I was like, okay, yeah, you're going to feel this immense pressure in your consciousness to evolve, right? And it's to squeeze out, literally just squeezing out every drop of victim consciousness or fear, anything that is a limitation, right? Or a perceived separation. And yet we go at this in layers, right? Because you can only see so much. So you're digging through, you clear it, and then you're restoring, and then another layer comes and another. And so massive, massive deprogramming. Release the programs that it has to be hard or that we have to suffer. With the role changes like I talked about, you're going to see as we surrender the, oh, it has to be hard, or it has to be, suffering, or I have to be tired from this. This is where you're going to see some deeper activations and like opportunities and ideas coming in, creative ideas on role changes and what's appropriate for you now based on loving yourself fully and not punishing yourself, or not saying, oh, I have to just suffer through it, just grin and bear it. This is the way I got to do it. Just right on loving yourself and self-care, sacred self-care. Seeing that our reality is going to be more and more and more based upon consciousness and energy than the physical exertion or the physical old paradigm job styles. And this is happening in waves for people. So it's not like the entire workforce is just going to ascend overnight and no one's going to be at the grocery store. It's not like that. It happens in waves. The divine design is very immaculate in how it does it so that we don't have chaos. So that's a lot about this month in general, and this week is to really focus on embracing this sacred crystalline process. Work with your inner lion aspect, work with your Venusian aspect, work with your sacred I am presence, right? Your holy Christ self in the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine expression. And now for me, what I received is with some role changes is, I love sessions and I'm going to continue to do one-on-one sessions, but we were shown energetically like, okay, we're making a difference. We're assisting and supporting this one soul, but energetically, we may only have the energy to do that once a day with one person. And at this point now, where we all are together, we need to do more. We need to do group work for more people at one time, make the most of our energy and what is possible. So starting this month, I'm so excited. We're going to be doing 2 live workshops on Zoom, live together every month. They're 3 hours long, so we'll say between 2 and 3 hours, but not to go over 3 because I don't think my energy body can handle it. But they're going to be every 2 weeks. And so this is on the Mystery School platform, the opportunity to come together live. And if you've never been to one of my workshops or one of my online classes, essentially, we come together, we anchor in the energy together, create a beautiful container. We work with really high frequency geometries and different ascended masters and all kinds of beautiful energetics. And so there's a lot of alignment with this. There's a huge frequency that I bring to share, to activate everybody, to bring you all into the frequency with me, right? These energies of the sacred and of New Earth and the crystalline realms. And so we come in and we do some energetic alignment. I'll talk about the different codes of what's going on. So for the first webinar, that's on the 15th. So December 15th, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, live on Zoom. We're going to be doing some solstice prep. So we'll be going deeper into the codes that are emerging as we're then about a week out, right, from solstice. We're going to talk about other codes, other things coming through. We'll do deprogramming together, energy clearing, whatever is supportive for everyone. And and connecting to the sacred higher heart. So this is a group session, right? And we will also do Q&A, so you can present things you're working through or any questions, and it's very powerful when we work in a group dynamic because everyone has common threads of what they're experiencing. So it's $55 for the membership for this, and it's month to month, so you don't have to commit longer than a month if you don't want to. So it's basically a little bit over, $25 per class, which is a great deal because we're going to be going deep together. It's 3 hours together, amazing live. You'll have access to the replay. This also includes access to all the courses in my course library on the Mystery School, which is really awesome. And again, it's a month to month. There's no obligation. But this way, by making the live events a part of the portal of the membership in the Mystery School, it kind of creates a nice sacred container of a boundary between just anybody coming in off the internet. It's like when you're having an event space, it's nice, to have it in a way that there is some honoring, right? There is reciprocity. It's a soul contractual kind of alignment together, right? Calling in those souls that want to do this kind of work. So it's great because when I would do the workshops on New Earth 1, it would be $33 for one workshop for 2 hours. So yeah, I invite you to join. It'll be great. We're going to have the first on the 15th of December. That's at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the second will be on the 28th because the week of the solstice is going to be big. I usually have to go offline for that and just be because there's so much receiving and clearing of my own as well. So I thank you so much for joining me today. Look forward to hearing how your week is going. And if you haven't, enjoy the crystalline. The December crystalline codes podcast was the extra that we were guided to do last week. So I will put that here with the videos, and also the dodecahedron activation to assist you working with the golden plasma energy, the crystalline plasma that's coming out today too. So keep your eyes out for all the goodies, and just sending you big hugs, lots of love, and just welcoming you to such a beautiful sacred time. It's really an amazing time to be here on the planet. And all it takes is honoring and having some self-discipline with our mastery, with our focus, right? So whatever we're focusing on will increase. So you want to make sure that you are honoring, having that self-honor, that self-love, that you will be focusing on that which is nourishing you, that which is supporting your growth and expansion at this time, and just holding that in your heart space, right? So thank you so much. Wishing you an amazing week, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.